Hello children, welcome to CA class. Today we will start chapter 6, cyber ethics. So first of all you should know what is cyber ethics. The use of information and technologies ethically. You know very well, nowadays information is available freely over the internet and you can access the wide range of information with the help of various electronic devices like mobiles, laptops, PCs, etc. So here comes the ethics. While using information and technology, we should follow some ethics so that we should not spread wrong information, we should not get wrong information, and we should not misuse that information. So, first of all, we will study about the cyber ethics for e-commerce. Nowadays, you might have seen that online businesses are going on. People are buying and selling over the internet. That means the fraud can also happen if the proper ethics is not followed. Many types of frauds are there, like identity theft, means personal details can be stolen, or credit card information can be stolen. If you are purchasing something, maybe you are not receiving the goods, etc. So here, first of all, we should know what is e-commerce. I think you all know about e-commerce. E-commerce means commerce activities online. That means using electronic devices and over the internet. So here in e-commerce, we can buy or we can sell goods as well as services. Services can also be provided over the internet, and making payments and transferring funds over the internet. Okay, buying and selling of the products as well as transferring the funds and making payments is the part of e-commerce. So now if it is going on, that means buying and selling is going on, that means the stakeholders means the businesses, the companies involved in the e-commerce, they should follow some ethics. And why these ethics should be followed? To ensure that no one is cheated or fooled. So here students will study about 3 topics: the privacy, the fraud, and secure data transmission in terms of e-commerce. Okay, cyber ethics for e-commerce. Now comes the privacy in terms of e-commerce. Privacy, you know very well, the personal data should be related to us only. Okay, so anyhow, if any information is required to be exchanged, then we should ensure that our privacy is not lost. So the protection of personal information given online. We are posting personal information over e-commerce websites, on e-business websites like Amazon, Flipkart, etc. So it is related to companies' policies on the use of user data. The company should ensure that how they are going to use our personal information. So ethically, both buyer and seller must provide the correct information. That we already know, that we should provide correct information, and then the seller also should provide the correct information to the consumer. Now, the company should clearly state, company should be very much clear that how it is going to use the consumer's data, customer's data. Customer's data means name, then credit card information, address, etc. So, the factor of privacy is first of all a consumer consent. First of all, the company, whenever the customer is logging into the e-commerce website, then company should ensure that consumer consent is taken. So consumer consent is actually the consumer choice to decide that what information can and cannot be used for. Okay, the company should take the consumer consent, that how much information customer wants to share or how much information the company is going to share. Then some information you already know, that which is required by e-commerce website, like delivery address to deliver the goods, card details so that the payment can be done, and name, etc. So these are some informations which we know that it is required. But apart from this, if they have taken these information, then they should not share this data from anyone else to the third party. Now in continuation to the privacy in terms of e-commerce, we will study how to safeguard the user privacy. Okay, how user privacy can be maintained and can be kept safe. So to ensure that user privacy is not compromised, we can follow some steps. First of all, the seller must clearly state that how the user data is going to be used in terms and conditions. You know very well, when we install any app or a software, then the company always asks about the agreeing of terms and conditions. So everything should be clearly stated in terms and conditions, that how the user data will be used. Then the seller must also ensure that the user has gone through the terms and conditions, okay, before making any transactions. Now, merchant must implement proper data safety. There should be proper data safety, like the normal URLs have http:// followed by the address of the website. But in place of HTTP, it should be HTTPS. Now what is HTTP? HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS means Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So always in the URL we should check that HTTP protocol is secure. That means the proper secure transmission of web pages is there. Now, users should make sure before using any website, we should also check that the site is safe or not, that app is safe or the website is safe or not. By checking HTTPS protocol, when there will be HTTPS protocol, then padlock icon will also be there. Padlock icon just comes before the HTTPS protocol, okay? Just before the address of the website, you will be able to see the small padlock icon. It is actually locked when the website is secure. Now comes the fraud related to e-commerce. So fraud means, online fraud means fraud committed using internet. Any fraud, any wrong, or someone is cheated online with the help of internet, then it is a fraud. So the fraud can occur in many forms. If it is related to e-commerce, then maybe the goods are not delivered. We have ordered something, but we are not getting the good. Now, non-existent company. We have made payment and we have ordered something, but then we come to know that company does not exist. Or stealing the information, like we have kept personal information in our e-commerce website and then someone has stolen the information. The next is fraudulent payment, like there is some fraud related to the payment. First two frauds can easily be encountered with the help of setting up the official bodies which will take care of the validity of the company. If there are official bodies, you can check that the companies are authorized and a good company, then these two things can be countered. But these two are actually very frightening. How? First of all, stealing information. If the information is stolen, that means there is identity theft. If someone has taken my name, my address, my email ID and contact number, etc., then what can be made? A fraudulent post can be made, a fraud post which I have not done, but somebody else has done in my name. Then rumor mongering. Someone has taken my name and then started spreading rumors. Or a riot fueling can also be done. Something related to religious, something wrong related to the religious can be posted with the help of identity theft. Then comes the credit card fraud. Okay, these two frauds are actually under this and they are actually more frightening. So the credit card fraud, if someone has taken our credit card informations, then obviously the payment fraud can be done. So students, only this much for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.